Tilton inside of the Taylor Tilton Hour. You're watching The Blend, where legends live. And on today's show, I have tickets to give away to the River City Jazz and Music Festival Saturday, September 2nd at the Cannon Center. And I know you want to win those tickets, right? Well, you must register on my VIP list at www.tinatilton.com. This Jazz and Music Festival features Eric Benet, After Seven, Gerald Albright, Julian Vaughn, Joe Johnson, and my very special guest today. Oh man, y'all. Ladies, I hope you tuned in. None other than Grammy Award nominated singer-songwriter Kenny Lattimore. Come on in here, Kenny. Where are you, man? There he is.
Hey, thank you for having me. This is great.
Hey, thank you. You know what? Let me ask you a first question. Have you ever been to Memphis? Have you been here before?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You know, I don't think I've ever done my long set show there.
Okay.
Or maybe I have, but it's been a really, really long time. Like when they used to have Isaac Hayes's, goodness, it was
his restaurant. He had a restaurant here.
He had a restaurant many years ago.
Yeah, he did.
And I've done that. I did that at least once.
Okay.
And a lot of times I get to come in and do appearances and things in Memphis, but I'm looking forward to this one.
You like our barbecue?
Yeah, I love it. So I definitely, you see me stopping by a lot of times on a personal note, but in terms of the shows and everything, I'm very excited to be a part of the show coming up. You know what? This is live.
Yes. Oh, that's okay. Hey, this is live. So
because this is live, I'm listening to my phone in the background. Like nobody's been calling me. I am visiting my father at his beautiful home.
Is it in DC, where you're from? Because I understand
no. Actually, he's out in Arizona.
Okay.
And it's beautiful. This is like a hotel resort here.
Yeah,
and I was like, I'm going to come and visit and hang out and everything. So things have been really quiet until right now my phone rings. Okay. But anyway, so that's
okay.
gone. The
that's
answer
the
she
beauty
picked
of
up.
But DC, you are from DC and you
from
have
DC.
A church background, huh?
I do. Yeah, absolutely. I came to know some things about the Bible for the first time when I was about 14. And when I heard the gospel preached, like the plain gospel, not just the hoop, not just the rev up and yes, and all that. I used to go to church and experience that, which was wonderful still, but I didn't always understand. I didn't always hear.
Okay.
Somebody sat down and taught me and my mom the word. It was a lady named Pastor Shirley Nicholson. Back in 80 something. I don't remember what the year it was, but whatever the case, we looked at each other like, oh my gosh, this is what this means in the Bible. And we were totally blown away. And from there, I made my own decision, to really seek the Lord and seek the word. So that was totally life-changing on a lot of different levels because it affected everything from what I sang. I understood more about myself. Because the
Bible will do that, and I'm a firm believer in it as well.
Because I can take you back even further. The first time I ever heard.
I'm only 2 years old now. No, 20.
Well, no, we're going back to when we were little children. As a little child, I remember somebody saying, "Accept Jesus Christ in your heart as your Lord and Savior." Da 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 da. And I did do that. This is what's powerful about the word is even though it wasn't until 6 to 7 years later that I actually heard the gospel preached in a way that I totally understood it. The word does not return void. And when I said that I wanted Jesus to come into my heart and I understood that he died for me, there were things about my life that changed even at 8 years old that I couldn't explain. There were things I couldn't do. There were things there was a vision that I had and I was drawn to the word and just didn't understand. But again, at 14, 15, somewhere around there, when I heard it taught, life-changing, and it set the standard for my life.
Yeah. Well, I understand too that you had some amazing icons as well, though. You had Shaka Khan as your icon, Donny Hathaway, Marvin Gaye, Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
Did they play I can even hear all of them in your music.
It's interesting because I grew up with in a very musical household, and my mom played a lot of R&B. She played a lot of different styles of music, but of course, I gravitate to R&B being young and coming up. And she worked at a school, Lincoln University, which is in Oxford, Pennsylvania. So out of Howard, because she went to Howard University, her first job that I remember is her being at Lincoln University. And when she got to Lincoln, we were great friends with the head of all of the activities, and they would bring these concerts to the school. So as a kid, I'm meeting Shaka at 8. I'm meeting, huge singers, Lionel Richie and different folks as a kid. And it totally made me want to be a part of the industry before I even knew what that was.
Of course.
It became something that was natural and tangible for me. So I loved it. But Shaka was definitely one of my favorites because she was one of the first that I met.
Well, did you say your mom worked at Howard University?
She worked at Howard University as well. She graduated from Howard.
And
her
so
first
did you,
job.
Right?
I attended Howard, but I got a record deal in my first year at Howard and was out of there. Well, I spent 2 years. I didn't immediately leave. What was so cool about the HBCUs is the staff and the deans knew that I had done this album and that I was hitting the road and all of that. So they shifted some things for me and allowed me to go to classes in fine arts. And I still studied for a while, but I was an architecture and planning major. So then they took me over to fine arts and they allowed me to study there for another year where I did my music theory and piano and voice and all of that to prepare me for being on the road, because the type of singing that we do is pretty unrealistic for the voice. It's way more than the average person does. So the preparation to sustain your instrument is pretty tremendous.
Okay. And this group that you're talking about, or the reason why you left Howard University, because what's the name of the group? Mannequin or
Mannequin.
Mannequin. Okay.
Mannequin. And we recorded with Ronnie and Charlie Wilson of the Gap Band. Everybody talks
about it. It was a response and an answer to somebody else's popular song, right?
Yeah. Yep. An answer to Pebble's Mercedes Boy. So that was an interesting time because there were answers to songs quite a bit, but the problem that we have is that the whole entertainment record industry is a very interesting animal. For whatever reason, we do this amazing song that's a play off of another hit, but our label does not put the song out for a year. So it ended up, I think, translating as if we had taken from that idea as opposed to complemented her idea. And it did not become a big commercial success for us, but it was the beginnings of my understanding of the recording industry, and I'm forever grateful.
There we go. Unmute myself. There we are. Okay. There we are. So you moved to New York City. You signed to Columbia in 95, released a self-titled album in 96, and it went gold because it had 2 top 20 hits on it. And Never Too Busy and For You. I gotta say, let me say this, I'm gonna say big kudos to whoever your marketing people were for Never Too Busy. Let me tell you what.
Thank you.
So in 96, is that my phone this time? We are live, aren't we?
It's all right. It's live.
I did. My stars. Anyway. So my aunt and I, we attended the Essence Music Festival. And I'm gonna say, never too busy. Never too busy. And every break we saw you with Never Too Busy.
This is so funny that you mentioned this because when I try to tell this story without you, I think people kind of look at me like, yeah, right. Well, the Jumbotron, this is so early, you guys. The Jumbotron at the Superdome was not something that initially was given to companies to use. So this was one of the first times that they had allowed us during Essence to use the Jumbotron. So we submitted We submitted. So it was only me and like maybe one or two other acts or
No
something.
wonder.
Or maybe it was just me and another company. So all they had to play on the jumbotron over and
over and over. I promise
They're
you.
never too busy.
I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, okay. We got
Right?
it.
It's like, okay, already, we got it.
Because again, that was
He
96.
just didn't
So
have
here we are in
anything else to
2022,
play
and I
on that.
still remember that. Being a young person there, just never. I was like, I can't wait to interview him. I'm gonna jump in and
man.
remind him of that.
So I would say it was the brilliance of Columbia Records, but it was really the combination of their brilliance and the fact that Essence just didn't have anything else to play.
I see why now. I do understand. Amazing. So if you have any comments or questions for Mr. Kenny Lattimore, feel free to hit us up in the comment section and we'll pop it up on the screen if it's decent. So make sure that it's clean and decent.
Yeah.
But okay, and so your high school, let's go back into 96 and 95 for you. Your high school friend named Kenny wrote for you. And I was just like, I have to ask you this. Are all Kenny's lovers, do you all just love Kenny? Seem like they are loving guys.
Yes, authentically, Kenny Lear, my good friend from high school, wrote the song for his wife. And which was really cool. You know, the best part about it is we know that people sit down and they think of wedding songs like, I want to make some money.
Like something that'll last forever.
It was nothing like that. It was not pretentious at all. It literally was his wedding song that I had sung at his wedding maybe a year to a year and a half prior. And what ended up happening is I just said, hey man, can I put this on my demo? Because the song is so beautiful. That was the thing back then, doing demo tapes, and then you'd give them to record companies and they would determine whether they thought you were talented or not. And I said, it would be great if I could use this for my demo. He says, yeah, do it. So I do the song not knowing how it would affect other people. It was considered my pop song for my album, because at that time for Black singers, you had, you know, all your R&B stuff, whatever, but you always put at least one song that you thought could possibly cross you over to other audiences and allow your career to be bigger. So that was the song. I had a couple of them on that first CD, but that was considered the song that was supposed to cross me over.
Yeah. Well, hey, it crossed you over many wedding rings. Let's put
Yes.
it that way. Yeah. Like, you know, I thought to myself, I said, this man may be the modern day Luther Vandross.
Oh,
what
wow.
do you think? Have you been called that before?
Yep, they're right in that category. And he is somebody who I absolutely loved and was definitely influenced by. As a matter of fact, I remember my mom taking me to see him back in the 80s.
Oh, wow.
And it changed my life. It really, to hear somebody in an arena sing like that, and for the sound to be pristine, so that even though I'm in this humongous place, it felt like he was right, you know, in front of my face. I was like, that's what I want to do. This is exactly what I want to do.
And you're doing it. Amazing. Praise God for that. Well, your bio said, let me read my notes. Lattimore is known for his dramatic stage plays, vocal agility, and romance ambiance. Do you agree? Do you agree?
Yeah, I'm a dramatic person. I like, you know what it is? One, I'm a storyteller on stage. So I like to talk about romance. I like to talk about the differences that we have between men and women and how we can come together to enhance each other's lives without critically tearing each other apart. So I tell stories and things, and I talk about my life. But at the same time, I think from a physical standpoint, I'm not a dancer where some dancers are cool. Some dancers, or some singers rather, when they're dancing are cool. Like Anthony Hamilton's cool to me, or he comes back, he does a little church dance. Maxwell, real cool. You kind of get a little hip hop. You get moves on each beat. I'm just one of those people that I just move wherever the music tells me to. I'm one of those people that just moves on the stage. I just go. And as a result, I never know what I'm going to do. But I'm an arms out guy. Just like I'm an arms out guy, which is very dramatic. So when I'm singing the song, my entire body is taken over by that song in the delivery of it. Whether it's my face expressions or whatever, I try to calm my face expressions down because I make probably crazy, silly faces too. But it's fun. It's who I am. It's something that I've had to learn to accept through the years. And the reason why is because this is a very critical industry. And sometimes after seeing an amazing artist like Maxwell, people want you to be that. Or you see an Anthony Hamilton and they're like, well, why doesn't he move more like Anthony Hamilton? Because I'm not Anthony Hamilton. Sorry. Yeah. But I learned to be okay, be as dramatic, embrace who I am, and know that the people that want Kenny Lattimore are going to be with Kenny Lattimore.
Right there, 2 snaps and a song. I went all the way back to Living Color days.
Yeah, and those are my boys too. I love them so much. They wouldn't mind me saying their names specifically because they are artists, and I can't wait to see them live on stage. I know they have a tour out right now, so y'all check them out too.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
And Joe, I think Joe is on that tour too.
Yeah. Well, you have some music that Michael Jordan loves. Come on, tell me about that. I was like, hold on, Kenny Lattimore, Michael Jordan.
You know, it's really funny. Michael Jordan was a fan from the beginning. When I found out that he was a fan of mine, he wanted to use "Never Too Busy" in his cologne commercial. Do you remember the MJ cologne or the Michael Jordan cologne back in the? He wanted to use "Never Too Busy" as the theme song for the cologne. And I was like, wow, really, this is like really crazy. But I did not write that song. So he had to go through the music publishers and all who did not allow him to use that song. I think they got into just a business dispute. And a lot of times is, you think of Michael Jordan doing anything, you put a higher price tag on it. Even though this is a startup company, the cologne, and it's not his personal company, he's a part, it's part of his brand, but just because his name is on it, you get that higher. So I think they used Donnell Jones, another very talented singer, to do the commercials for that. But I thought at the end of that, wow, they used Donnell. Oh, that's nice. They're not using me. It's kind of devastating for a young singer, young artist, but you move on and you just go, well, maybe one day I'll meet him or what have you. And then I get a call during the launch of Jordan Brand, and they have all these shoes coming out, and he's like, Michael Jordan wants you to come and sing at this luncheon. And I was like, sure, okay, I'm there. When I get there, I realize that, wow, he is a super fan. He's not just a fan. Did you give him your shoe size? Oh, definitely gave my shoe size. And started getting all kind of product from Nike and everything. But he had some of his other. I was one of his favorite artists because I remember Teddy Riley being around and a couple of other artists. But what was so amazing was when I first connected with him, he took me into a room. I mean, he just was like, "Oh my gosh, you're my favorite." He took me into a room. And he began to tell me what some of his favorite songs were on the first album. And he was like, I want you to just sing for me. And Ahmad Rashad was there. He said, this is one of my best friends here. I want just sing for us before any of these other people come in. I mean, it was that kind of connection.
Sure.
And then he'd bring me back for other events and things that he had. Even at that time, his wife would have events. I would go and I'd sing for her. Yeah. So, really amazing and something I never talked about. I don't know why necessarily. It wasn't anything intentional necessarily. I just was like, there were some beautiful moments, and that was a great thing that happened, but I never really talked about it. And then we have this great documentary come up to memorialize what had happened. I forgot that I had sent him the CD of my album before it came out.
You're like, Tina, I got so much material, I forgot about that.
So it was really amazing to relive that moment, and for the world to relive it with me. I think some people were upset at first because they just knew he was going to be a hip hop person, but hip hop stuff had evolved. I mean, hip hop didn't really become synonymous with basketball until much later. Yeah. Like maybe 10 years after that. Yeah. Now there was some great hip hop out then, but it did not become synonymous with basketball until much later.
You're right. Well, in 2001, Clive Davis, he signed you to Arista.
Yes.
And you did a couple of duet songs with Shantae Moore. You did gospel and you guys did R&B.
Yeah.
Was that a fun collab? When I say fun, I mean like the gospel and the R&B together.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun all the way around. I mean, it was my life. I was married then to her, and so it kept our family together, if you will. And to do that music, it was authentic to who we were. I definitely was like, wow, this is a cool way for me to finally sing the gospel, because I learned something when I was at Howard, and that was from Denise Williams. She came and did master classes at Howard at one point, and she always would put at least one gospel song on her project, no matter what, or something inspirational. And it set a standard for me where I was like, oh, I want to do the same thing so that I'm always identified with the body of Christ. That was a big deal for me. And so to be able to do a full out project of songs, and then to work with Fred Hammond, oh gosh, it was pretty amazing, because it allowed me to have a great relationship with him, and another big brother in music that taught me just so much. So that whole time period was really, really special for recording, definitely, and it allowed me to be, again, authentically who I am.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny you say Fred Hammond, because my daughter and I, she's 7, and we were working out to Jesus Be a Fence All Around Me. That's a good one. I need protection.
Yeah.
Keep going. She said, Mommy, you on beat. I said, yes, Mommy. Like I'm not on beat, but I mean, whatever. Okay, but so amazing projects right there. Let's talk about 2008. In 2008, you released Timeless on Verve Records, but in 2012, you launched your very own label, Sincere Soul Records. And so from that, you've released quite a few. Anatomy of a Love Song, Kenny Lattimore's Christmas, Vulnerable. Tell us about the most recent project, Here to Stay.
Here to Stay is, it's interesting. I started Sincere Soul Records mainly as a way to control the intellectual properties that I made. It wasn't the traditional, I want to have a label and have a bunch of artists on it and discover new talent. Although mentoring is at the center of my heart, it always has been. But from the record label side, I see the good and the bad and the ugly. And I knew that I didn't necessarily have a passion for being a traditional label. But one of my guys that I mentor came to me, Drakar Madison Wesley. And Drakar, it was, Madison, rather. I'd rather you guys know him as Madison, because he's a phenomenal artist, and that's the name that he uses, and he's going to be out very soon.
Okay.
Well, Madison was responsible for producing my last 3 top 10 hits. So on Anatomy of a Love Song, it was Love Me Back. He wrote on the Christmas project. He did a song called Be Here on the Boney James project. He also did a song called Stay on Your Mind on my Vulnerable project. He was doing just great work with me, respecting my legacy, but understanding that there is a new adult, and the sounds and what's marketed to new adults is what he wanted. He was like, you can sing and you can do this. You can still appeal to the young adult as well. So what he did was he called me one day and he said he wanted some exposure with some things he was doing. And I said, okay, I'm gonna go out and I'll try to do some new distribution and get another opportunity going. When I went into the company, they said, can you do a Kenny album? I said, yeah, as long as we can do Madison. And he graciously was like, I'll produce the Kenny album. And I said, perfect. I'll let everybody know, just like I'm doing right now, who Madison is.
Yeah, Madison hooked you up.
And then we'll come back and we'll get your album out there. But what was great was, again, he challenged me a bit. I became a student of sorts, because the sound and the cadence and all of that. I mean, we start this album out in sort of a traditional R&B way, but it gets more and more contemporary as you listen and go in. And I think that contemporary sound is what has been very attractive to those that are on Spotify and a lot of the younger streaming formats. And so it's been amazing to see a lot of new fans, who are like, oh, we kind of remember him, or we grew up on him, but I might not have been on their playlist.
You got to say it like they say it. My mama listened to him.
Yeah, my mama, my grandmama listening. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh my gosh, Lose You. And I'm loving this, and I'm loving the pressure and all. And I'm just wow, this is great.
Yeah,
so
I
can't wait to do the stuff live, because that's when I really get to see all of these different age groups come together and it challenges me to deliver to everyone, and it makes for a great evening.
We can't wait to see you either. But before we talk about that event that's coming up, I have one more question, and this is where I ask an uncommon question. Now, this question has nothing to do with the bio, but it's not anything crazy either.
Okay.
So, my question for you would be: so since you did a Christmas album in 2016, Kenny Lattimore Christmas. Let's see, you're married to a judge. Give us a glimpse of what Christmas looks like in our
household.
Look like in your house, like we're getting these decorations. Judge said, nope, we're not. We're getting these decorations.
Let me tell you that we are completely traditional in the Lattimore household these last couple of years. Faith, or Judge Faith, as you know her, loves to. She can decorate a Christmas tree like the store. Like she can decorate it like a professional. And so she's done our tree. I go and I put it up, and I become her assistant, the Christmas assistant. And we put everything together, and then we just started doing the garland coming down the steps and all that kind of stuff all around. I don't know, each year it'll probably be something different that we add to the house. But it is a very traditional Christmas with, the music over the fireplace, the whole nine. You put some hot cocoa or coffee on, and then we go at it, and we just start to do our decorations.
Oh, that is amazing. Kind of sounds similar to our household. So, and that's so refreshing. Christmas is always a time of year to reflect, especially since we both share similar beliefs. It's a time to reflect on that.
Yes, absolutely.
Well. Just be grateful. Yeah. So it's like, happy birthday, Jesus.
Our favorite time of year. Yep.
Kenny, I'm looking so forward to seeing you live and in person.
Thank you.
So excited about it. So you guys, our time is just about up, but I want to remind the viewers to remember to go to my website, www.tinatilton.com, to register to win tickets. Meanwhile, make plans to attend the River City Jazz and Music Festival.
This thing should be sold out with this lineup. I can't wait to be a fan and sit and listen to some people. Eric Benet and I go way back too. I don't talk about it as much, but Eric Benet and I used to live in the same apartment complex as a striving artist growing up, coming up before Never Too Busy and all that stuff came out. And so to see him,
I gotta do it, Kenny. Oh boy, you are a joy. So again, remember you guys, it's Saturday, April 2nd at the Cannon Center, featuring Eric Benet, who we just mentioned, After 7, Gerald Albright, Julian Vaughn, Joe Johnson, and my very special guest right here, Mr. Kenny Lattimore, you guys. So go ahead on and get those tickets. They start at only $49, and you can purchase yours today at the Cannon Center's box office or on Ticketmaster. Again, Kenny, thank you so much for being a guest on The Blend. Thank you. And we look forward to seeing you, Gary.
Look forward to seeing you as well.
All right. Have a great day.
Listen.
Thank you for watching.